Yo guys, we are back, and today we are not going to build a sniper, but I'm going to show you how you can use the sniper that we built in the previous videos. A lot of new features have been added, and the people asked me to create a video on how they can use it, how they can set it up and configure them to snipe at their own terms. So that's what I will do today, and if you have questions, put them in the comments. As always, I'll do my best to answer them as quick as possible. But if you want these questions answered quicker, consider joining our Discord. There is a lot of cool people there. If you have questions, they will also answer them for you. I'll put the link in the description, and I'll hope to see you there. Alright, so before we start the sniper and configuring it, I want to show you a quick overview of the sniper to show you what modes there are, how you can snipe, and that will also make you understand the logic once we look at the configuration a bit better. So the sniper has two modes. It can scan programs and it can copy trade wallets. And scan programs is, for example, we can look at the pumpswap program, and every time liquidity is created or every time a token goes from pump.fun to pumpswap, we can snipe it. Or we can copy trade wallets, which means we can add wallets to our config, and once that wallet buys a token, we snipe that token, or once the wallet sells the token, then we can also sell that token. So these two modes are available, and it doesn't matter which mode you select, you have two options of sniping. You can or use Sniperoo to swap the token, or you can use Jupiter to swap the token. Now, Sniperoo by default uses JITO, and once you do the buying via Sniperoo, you can also set a take profit and stop loss within the same action. So once you snipe the token within the same payload, you can set a take profit and a stop loss. So these will be triggered once they are hit. If you are using Jupiter, you can buy the token, but there is no stop loss and no take profit at the moment. So for these two modes, you have these two ways of sniping the token. Now, you can, if you copy trade, also trigger a sell using Jupiter once the wallet sells that token. So that is also possible. But if you, for example, choose to do copy trading with Sniperoo, then you can use buying via Sniperoo. You can also set a stop loss and a take profit, and then you can sell the token using Jupiter. So that's also an option. Once you buy the token, or once you are about to buy the token, you can also choose to set a check in place. These checks are configured within the config, and we will also look at that. And there is three types of checks. A snipe check, which will check if the token has a mint and a freeze authority. A full check, which will get a report from rugcheck.xyz and then compare it to the settings within your config, or no check at all. And this can be really helpful if you, for example, sniping copy trades or sniping tokens migrating to pump.fun, because they should not have any issues with, for example, mint authority, freeze authority. So you can also opt to have no check, but the check is in place if you want to use it. So that's the overall overview of the sniper, and that are the methods or the modes and the sniping tools that you can use. And with that said, let's now check out the config.ts, or the config of the sniper, to see how you can configure it to snipe in your own terms. So you can get the sniper via Discord. So if you go to our Discord, under code repositories, there is a channel Token Sniper, and there is a link that you can find the free sniper. Today I will cover the VIP sniper, which is based on the free sniper, but it has a lot of added functionality, but a lot of the concepts are the same. So, but if you want to have access to the VIP sniper, you can do that by going to the Unlock VIP channel, and then you can subscribe to our VIP tier and download the improved sniper there as well. So once you downloaded the sniper, you can open it within your IDE. I'm using Visual Code, but you can use whichever you want. And then you need to open the terminal, and the first thing that you need to do is make sure that you install all the dependencies that the sniper needs to run. And you can do that by typing npm i or npm install. Both works. Once the packages are installed, you will see a message like this, and that means that all the libraries are now available for the sniper to function properly. So the next thing that you will have to do is make sure that you copy the env.backup file and create an .env file, because the .env file will hold your sensitive information that is needed for the sniper to actually make the swaps. And what you will need is a private key if you want to use Jupiter, just like I showed you in the overview, and a Sniperoo key and public key if you want to use Sniperoo. Now, I will put the link in the description for Sniperoo. Don't Google it because there might be scams out there. I will put a link in the description. Just click on that link and you will go to Sniperoo and end up on a page like this. So the first thing that you'll need to do is add a wallet, import the wallet, create a wallet, it doesn't matter, and copy that wallet address and then paste that wallet address within the public key field. The next thing that you will have to do is go to API access, and under API access you will need to add a new key. This is my API key. Of course, I will create a new one or I will blur it, I don't know yet. But what you will have to do is click on the add new API key, give it a name and click create. So then you will have your key, then you copy that and you paste it within the Sniperoo API key field, just like this. Now, then you will also need a private key, and the private key again, if you are using, for example, the Phantom widget, you can export your private key there, copy it and paste it in the private key field. Besides your private key and the Sniperoo API key and public key, you will also need a RPC and a WebSocket or gRPC connection. And again, if we go back to the overview, this is the Sniper, but it can have two methods. You can run this discovery phase here, where we are scanning for new token launches or scanning for wallet actions. This can be done using a WebSocket or using a gRPC connection. Of course, the swapping of the token, we will need an RPC, a normal RPC, a staked RPC, it doesn't matter. But for this first part, for actually identifying the tokens that we want to swap, we can use or WebSocket or gRPC. And this you will also be able to configure within the config, which we will look at later. But you will also have to specify here within the environment file if you want to use a gRPC connection or a WebSocket. Now, if you want to have a gRPC connection, you can get that from Solana Vibe Station. They have really good rates. However, if you want to use a free WebSocket and a free RPC, you can also use Helios. And I will put the link in the description. And if you create a Helios account, you just need to copy the API key and paste it here. You can also use another RPC, whatever you want. You just need a Solana RPC that you can use here, and a WebSocket connection or gRPC connection. And then you need to make sure that you fill these fields in here, save the file, and then you are ready to go. Alright, so now the fun part. Once we have edited our environment file, you can go to the configuration file. And this is where you specify all the configurations on how you want the Sniper to behave. And the first thing that we see here is the data stream. And that's the first part that I talked about it. The stream, the mode, the token streams that come in that we potentially want to snipe. Now, there is two modes. Again, you can do program, which is the first one here, where we will look at programming scans. Remember, when we are looking for example, new liquidity pool creations. And then there is copy trade. It's called wallet within the configuration file. So you have program and wallet. And these two options are available in mode. If you choose wallet, if you choose program, then you will have to specify the program key here or the program ID, and also the lock that you want to look for in this program logs. And you can also give the name, and then you can enable it or disable it. And as for now, as you can see here, we are looking at the pumpswap program, and we are looking for an instruction create pool. So we will look for all the creations that are new pools or tokens that are coming from pump.fun going to pumpswap. So that is what we are sniping with this configuration. However, if you are using wallet and you want to copy trade wallets again, then you need to specify the wallets under wallet. And for now, I have one wallet here, which is my wallet. And you can also enable it and disable it and give it a name. And you can also just do this, add multiple wallets, and then multiple wallets will be scanned. So these are the modes that you can choose, as I showed you in the overview. And here you can choose if you want to use a WebSocket or a gRPC. Now, next we have concurrent transactions, and this is how many transactions you want to do at the same time. So if you are sniping a token and a new token comes along, then you can choose to only handle that token first, skip that token, that new token that comes along, and once the token has been sniped, of course, start looking again for new tokens. And I believe one snipe at the moment, at a time, is a good option for now. Wrapped Sol Mint, this is just used when swapping the token to have a reference to the wrapped sol, so nothing needs to be done here. Then we have a database part, and of course the token sniper has a database where it stores tokens, because as I told you before, there is also a check, and one of these checks that can be done is checking if the token has a name that often comes along, or that the creator comes along a lot. So we can specify in these checks that we don't want to snipe tokens that have a name that has often used, or that we don't want to snipe tokens from a certain creator, and these are then saved within the database. But we also save our positions that we snipe, and we have a database for that, and we have a location that you can specify here. But by default, that's good. It will end up in the tracker folder, but you don't have to do that much about it. Now, the next settings are the token buy settings, and as I told you, you can use or Jupiter or Sniperoo, and that is where you actually specify that, Jupiter or Sniperoo. Then you can specify the amount that you want to snipe. By default, it's set to 0.001 sol, but you can also increase or decrease it. That's up to you. If you are using Jupiter to snipe, you can set settings like slippage, prio fee max, Jito tip, and as I said, there is two modes. If you go back to the overview, if you use Jupiter to snipe, you can or use Jito or priority fee, and that is where you set that. So you can set prio or Jito, and if you use Jito, then you can set a Jito tip, which is a fixed tip. If you use prio, then you can set a max prio fee, which Jupiter will cap and will not go over. So you can choose between these two. However, if you use Jito, then you need to make sure that your RPC connection also supports Jito, because Jupiter under the hood will start broadcasting your transaction over Jito. So if you use Jito, make sure that your RPC supports it. Otherwise, just use prio, which is also good. You need to set a prio fee, but that works as well. And then you can also use wrapped sol if you want to do so, but by default the sniper will also wrap and unwrap it for you. But if you have wrapped sol within your wallet, you can set this to false, and then it will snipe with wrapped sol straight away. Next, you can also play a sound or open the browser once the token is sniped. So you can have it in the background, and once you hear the sound, you know it's sniped. Or you can open the browser automatically, so you don't have to click on the link. It opens the browser, goes to GMGN of whatever you set, and shows the graph with the token that you just sniped. Next, you have token sell options, and here the first one is the interval that you want your sniper to check your positions, because if you snipe a position, maybe you sell it outside of the sniper, you go to an exchange and you sell it, for example Axiom or GMGN, every 60 seconds or every minute the sniper will go and fetch your token balances from your wallet and see that you still hold that position. If not, it will remove it from its local database. Also, again, if you use Jupiter, you can choose to also sell, and that's what I talked about it here earlier. So there is a possibility to sell using Jupiter if you're copy trading, and that you can enable or disable it as of your liking here within the sell settings. And again, for Sniperoo, just as I showed you here in the overview, you can use a take profit and a stop loss, and these settings are also specified here under the token sell under Sniperoo. And you can enable it or you can disable it. And there's two strategies. You can have a simple strategy or a trailing strategy. And here under the stop loss config, you can configure that. So the simple strategy will just use a stop loss and a take profit, which means that if you snipe a token and it increases with 65%, it will sell that token for you. If you have a token and it goes down 25%, it will also sell that token for you to minimize your losses. Now you can also use a trailing stop loss, and if you don't know what that is, you can always look it up. But in short, a trailing stop loss, it will just move up with the token price. So if your initial stop loss has been hit, but the token price still keeps going up, you can ask your stop loss to trail with the price up, which means that once the price goes up, but it dips again a certain amount of percentage, then it will sell. So this is a strategy that you can also use. It's called trailing stop loss, and you can use simple or trailing. But if you just want a simple stop loss and take profit, just set it to simple. So these are the token sell options. And then we have the checks. Remember, every time you are about to snipe a token, you can choose to have a check in place, and these checks are specified here. The first one is simulation mode, and you can enable that, which means if you have a token and simulation mode is on, nothing of this here happens. It's just simulation mode. It will show the token, but it will not snipe it, it will not buy it, it will not sell it. So back to the settings, you have mode, and these are the modes that I talked about. You have snipe mode, full mode, or none. And the snipe mode just checks if there is a freeze and a mint authority. The full mode will get a report from rugcheck.xyz, and the none, of course, there is no checks that happen. And the settings for the report that comes back from rugcheck.xyz, you can specify here. So you can say that you don't want tokens with a mint or a freeze authority. You can set a max allowed percentage for top holders, exclude liquidity pool from top holders, block recurring tokens and creators, and that's of course why we have also the database, allow insider top holders, not rugged tokens, not mutable tokens, certain symbols or names you can block. You can set a minimum amount of markets or liquidity providers, and then these settings will be compared to the report that you get back from rugcheck.xyz if you choose the full check, and if it doesn't satisfy your settings, it will not snipe the token. So these are the settings that you can use for the checks. And then we have something for Axios, but this is not it's nothing that you have to look at. It's the timeout that it sets for the requests to go out, and if they fail, there is a timeout that it cannot exceed. But these are the settings that you can use, that you can configure your own sniper for your liking. So you configure the settings, you save the file, and the next thing that you'll have to do is open the terminal again and then type npm run dev, and this will trigger the sniper to start. But before we do that, let's check out our config one more time to see what we are actually going to snipe. So let's close this and have a look. So we are using the WebSocket, and we are going to look at a program. And in the programs, we only have enabled the pumpswap pool creation, which means that we will look at this program and we will look for this instruction here, create pool instruction, which means that we will look for tokens that are going from pump.fun to pumpswap liquidity. So next we will use Jupiter, and we will snipe with 0.001 Sol, and under Jupiter we will use Prio and not Jito, and these are our settings for Prio. So a max fee of 0.01 and a slippage of 20%. The checks we will for now set do none, as we are going to look for pumpswap tokens. They should have no mint or freeze authority, so we will just snipe the token when they are moving to pumpswap. So with this config, what we can now do again is go to our terminal, new terminal, and then type npm run dev, and this will now snipe the tokens going to pump.fun or pumpswap. So if I open my browser here, I'm going to GMGN. What will happen now is all the tokens that are going from completing to completed, they will be sniped automatically. No check will be performed. The tokens, they will be sniped automatically, and our token sniper will save our position. So let's see when that happens, and then we can see if it actually works or not, and then we can check our holdings to see if everything went well. As you can see, it now detected a token here, and it's successfully swapped, and it's not even showing up here. So we will wait until it shows up here, and then you can see how much faster it actually is. For us, the token is already swapped, but it's not showing up here yet. So we can, of course, open this link as well in our browser, as we have disabled the option for not opening the browser. But as you can see here, we bought the token after it was migrated. And now you can see that our position is also 20+% up. So we can keep in the position, or we can wait until our actual stop loss happens. But we used, in this case, we used Jupiter, so we don't have a stop loss, so we can sell manually. So alright, so eventually I sold the position manually here in GMGN, I could let it run up a bit more. And if I would have used Sniperoo instead of Jupiter, I could have set a stop loss and a take profit. But eventually I just sold the token for the purpose of this video. I think we made around a 45% profit, and it's still going. But these tokens are quite volatile, so I always try to use a stop loss and a take profit and not just let them run. But I wanted to show you one more thing. I stopped the sniper here just to show you that once you start the sniper again, it will also check for the tokens that were sniped and then sold outside of the token sniper. So the next time that you start the sniper, that it will not try to sell tokens for you or that it has stale tokens. So if you can do run again here, what you will see is that it has no tokens in the wallet again, and that it removed all the positions from the local database from the sniper. So that's one way of sniping the tokens. Again, you can use it as you like in the config. Instead of using the token buy and Jupiter, you could use Sniperoo and then let the take profit and the stop losses do it for you. But as you can see, by scanning these programs, we were able to snipe a token quite fast after the migration. I can have a look here. I think we were like maximum 1 second later than the migration, so that's not that bad for this sniper. And if you have done a right stop loss and the take profit in place, yeah, that can be one strategy for you. That's how the sniper works today. Again, you can get the updated version via our VIP tier or the free version in our Discord. I hope you like what you see, and if so, like the video. Questions, put them in the comments. And that's it for today, and I hope to see you in the next one.